Hello everyone, my name is Leilu. Um, Thank you for all your support in the previous video about the VSQL data service that I solved the challenge for data dev quest. Let's take a review a little bit in that challenge. In the previous challenge, I wrote a program in Python to get the token with the personal access token from Tableau Cloud. And then pass the token into the function query data with the LUID um, from the data source. The VSQL query here to return the data I want and also add the filters. But one problem that I can see it's hard for me to know how many fields uh, exist in this data source. And also, if I use the VSQL to read the metadata in Postman, you will see some field names with the field name and field caption right here. For example, with the profit ratio, the field name is calculation, and with this ID. Of course, we know in this case, we know that profit ratio equal the sum of profit per sum of sales. Um, but in maybe in another data source with the another field caption and the field name like calculation dash with the ID, so we don't know what this calculation does. Um, so to solve this problems, I wrote a program to list all the metadata of the data source on data source on Tableau Cloud or server, and it's also helped me to extract the calculation like with the on the calculation like this. Okay, so to solve this problem, I use metadata API and also the VSQL data metadata. For Tableau Metadata API, if you haven't tried before, you can access to this link to read the documentation, um, and then open a web browser, sign into Tableau's cloud or server. Make sure that you are using Tableau Server 2019.3 or later. Um, so you get this link. Usually you access with the link on Tableau Cloud server like this. Just remove everything after .com and um, type metadata slash graph IQL, and then you can like this. So the structure of the metadata API is include query, the query name. After that, that is the objects, and the arguments could be a filter, and then all the attribute would be in the curly brace. Okay, let's move to metadata API. The server address would be 10ax.online.tableau.com. So I will add metadata and graph IQL, and then it open like this. So from here, I have a query called filter query with the published data source. That is an object. And in this object, I have one attribute for LUID. So I would like to list uh, the LUID from the published data source, the name of the data source, and the project's name. I can also add the owner to see who is the owner of this published data source. Also, it's return the ID if I add name. So it will return um, who is the owner of that published data source. Um, to add another object, I can also add the calculated field because I would like to extract the formula of the calculation. So I use the object calculated fields. Um, I will use name of the calculated fields, the formula, um, the data source, the name of the this data source. So if you scroll down, you will see there's a new keys called calculated fields. This is the name of the calculated field and the formula. This is the name of the data source. Let me try to find the calculation. Oh, uh, to get this is the field name, but to get the field caption. I'm sorry, that's the field caption. But if you would like to get the field name, like you have to use the fully qualified name. So for the fully qualified name, you will get the calculation that match with the VSQL read metadata here. Okay, um, that's nice. So what this calculated field return on the projects and the data source, and some of these data source are not published data source. But for VSQL data service, we need the published data source. So what I will do, I will join these objects with these objects because this one is a public data source. So I might use the lab join to join this with this one. Um, I write a Python script for this. I publish my projects on GitHub. It's called the wrap is called data source management, and I list on the features, the output, and also the instruction how to run this program on README file. Let me open the script. So in the script, I did the same way that I did for the previous video about SQL. At the first time, I need to get the LUID, um, and the input that I need that is you need to input the personal access token, personal secret, the server address, and your site ID. So here is the get LUID function. You need to pass the server address for the argument, your site ID, your personal access token name, your secret, personal access token secret, authorized by Tableau. And when it is authorized, you write metadata API query, the same that I did in here. So I got the LUID response to guess on the LUID and the name of the published data source. Then I have another query for on the fields by getting on the fully qualified name, the formulas, and the name of the data source. So I store all this in the fields for the field response and data source for the LUID response. And then I park JSON to unnest the field data source and then merge, I mean join two of these table together and drop the known values. After that, I add another feature to let the user to input the um, data source ID so they can choose which data source they like. So it will list all a list of the published data source on the screen and let the user to choose that. If the user choose that data source, it will return the name of the data source and also the LUID. So at the return, I will return the data frame, which means it will return um, name of the data source, the LUID, the formulas, and qualified field name. So I can join with the data from the VSQL metadata. So after I got the LUID and the name of the data source and the formula, I will get the token. So the same as I did in the reverse video. So after I got this token, I will pass it into the function called get metadata. So the difference with the reverse video, in the reverse video, I use VSQL to read the data source, but in this case, I read the metadata to return all the fields in the published data source. So I pass the data source DF is this data source that the user selected. So I only pass the LUID that I got from this data source DF. And then I join with the data source DF to get the full table I want. It should include the field caption, field name, the formula, the data type, name of data source, and the LUID. In the main function, I call all these functions to run. So it's include data source DF, the token, and then use the while loop to let the user choose that data source. If they want to choose another data source, they can click yes on here. And here's the demo of this program. You can type Python publish data source manager.py, enter. So the program will run and then it will list there are 13 published data source on site. So this is my site and 13 published data sources clicked in here. And I can choose the ID in here. This represent the name of the published data source. So I can choose, for example, like 4. And it will say this is your data source that you selected, your LUID, and here's is on the fields in that published data source, and then you can see the field names is this calculation with the field caption, which means profit ratio, and the formula for uh, this calculation. For example, if I would like to choose another data source, I will click yes. And then I will try another data source. So maybe 5. Yeah. And from here, you can see there's a 4 calculation with the ID. And here's the field caption with number of recipient, number of subscription. And here is the formula that explains what this field name does. And if I would like to exit, I'll go press no, and then it will exit the program. Yep, and that is all the program, and that is all the program that I did. I hope you enjoy it, and from here you can see all the field caption and the field name that you can apply to the VSQL to return the data that you want. It's also return the default by aggregation. I hope you enjoy it, and I also would love to hear your feedback from this video that I can try to improve it better in the next video. Um, Yeah, thank you and have a great day.